Hey, it's me, Jimmy D, and welcome to our Suicide Squad review. This this franchise, the first Suicide Squad, started us making these discussion type videos on YouTube, so this one's gonna hit home. Um,
Strap your ass in. It's going to be a long one.
it's gonna be a while, so go get you some snacks and all. You probably clicked on it like, what the fuck is this for real?
Yeah, I
You,
know. Well, you clicked on it for two things. You probably clicked on it like, what the fuck is this for real? That time length. And two, this is a video? I haven't
yes.
seen one of these in a while.
So let's dive into it. Let's not even wait.
So it was funny because like I remember hitting you up and I'm like, how do we want to do this? Do we just want to do it like a long rate or do we want to John Madden scene for scene? And you were like, well, that's going to be like 4 hours. So I'm like, okay, so we'll wrap. So we'll try to condense it.
Yes.
But there's a lot.
There's a lot to talk about because I
Let's just start with the opening. Let's start with the
yes.
opening because I think the opening is going to branch off into a lot of uh, difference between the Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Put some name on it. Put some respect on the name, and Suicide Squad.
Yes. So, the Suicide Squad has one of the best openings I've seen in a long time.
Oh yeah, it was. We gave James Gunn $200 million and no studio interference. Have fun.
As soon as Johnny Cash started playing over the title sequence, I knew this was going to be good. This whole movie just honestly blew me away. Um, Now, here's the thing. I knew from the very beginning that the team that we were watching board that helicopter was going to die, except they surprised me out the ass.
Yes. So here's the thing. So starting into this movie, you automatically go on and know that this is definitely going to be hands down way better than the Ayers film because before even the mission starts, there's just this moment and theme of them just talking,
Hmm.
which you didn't really get a lot of in that first movie. Like everyone says that the best scene in the Ayers film is the bar scene, and it
Yeah.
is. It's the best. It's the best scene in the film at a very very low bar, like
But you're right. Like
very
that
low bar.
whole sequence of them aboard that helicopter and they're just talking and just interacting with one another. I mean, the whole werewolf thing with Weasel was just
Well, so it was in the trailer, so that was
the
weird.
werewolf scene.
Well, they've released a clip of it of
Okay.
like of them being like, "What the hell is this? Is this like some kind of dog?" You know. But like, what got me was
He's killed 27 children.
no. What got me was so they have the conversation, and how I immediately knew they were going to do better was it cuts back to Waller's team,
Mhm.
and they're having a betting pool
Mhm.
on who's going to win, on who's going to live, and who's going to die. And that's when I immediately that sets the scene totally for what you're going into.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just adds so much just world like it's world building, but also like you're just getting so much character.
You're getting so much character, and you're getting so much indication that James Gunn knows what the hell he's doing.
Yes.
Okay, he knows he's making a comic book film. He knows that these are the type of people that these are. So I was watching Cosmo at Variety Hour because he did an interview on the Suicide Squad movie, which I know I texted you about that. Like I have opinions, totally changed on that. I still fucking hate that film. Um, but he brought up a good point: is that David Ayers, when describing his version of the Suicide Squad movie, wanted it to be what he described as a soulful drama.
Hmm.
What the fuck that means, I have no idea. Um, but he brought up that if you watch the film, it feels like there are two films just constantly clashing at each other.
Yeah. This this film was so cohesive, so well just plotted out. And we're gonna go on tangents. I know we were talking about the opening scene, but that's just that this movie has.
Here's the thing: you have to. We're going to go on tangents because you have to compare it because of how that last film is going to be so compared because they're night and day.
Yeah.
It's night and day. There's gonna be tangents.
But it was this movie was just so cohesive. It was so well plotted out, and overall, it just felt so whole.
And then the opening happens, and they literally say, we're called the Suicide Squad. Okay? No one could ever come out of here and claim false advertising.
No, because I mean, first of all, Weasel jumped from that plane with so much confidence just to drown.
I love that. I love that. I love Waller's response is, did no one check to see if the weasel could swim?
Yes.
Like, you would think that, like, that would be something that gets vetted.
Yeah. Like, number one question, can they swim? But no, and then the weasel dies. At first I thought, like, we were gonna get CPR done on the weasel on the beach. But no, he's just dead.
No, they saved that till the end.
Yeah. But one I didn't first of all, I knew Pete Davidson was going to die as soon as he started walking forward. But I didn't expect his whole fucking head to be blown in.
That was great.
It was fantastic. I loved it. Now, here's the thing. I thought I was going to hate Pete Davidson's character. But honestly, the short amount of time we got of him, I was enjoying it.
Pete Davidson knew exactly what the hell he was playing.
Yeah.
He was playing the Weasley, slimy kind of asshole, character who you want to die.
Yeah. But I honestly enjoyed that. Now, the big shocker for me was Boomer.
So, I have two things on that.
Yeah.
One, I remember because I went back and I rewatched a trailer about like, hey, what do we expect? 'Cause we broke down each individual character, like who's going to live, who's going to die, and I remember specifically saying that when it came to Boomerang, is that I have a feeling they're going to kill him.
Yeah.
They're going to kill him, and it's going to be like that. Oh shit, death.
Yeah.
Because it's James Gunn constantly into the promotion. Hey, don't get attached to these people.
No.
So you have that attachment from the first one. Plus, with all the marketing, you didn't see a lot of Jai Courtney.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can kind of see this is coming. And also, the third thing that pissed me off, that kind of pissed me off about that is his death could have been totally avoidable.
Yeah. 100%.
If Mongol didn't just decide to jump on a chopper and just not release it.
Yeah. He got stabbed with all the tree pieces from the helicopter cutting him, and then the chopper just...
All because she didn't decide to, when she was in the air, release.
Yeah.
So then it cuts over to Team B.
Yes.
I fucking love Team B.
Team B... Okay, I have a couple things.
Okay.
Now, I want to go through the characters of Team B. Starting with... Let's just start with King Shark, and then you can pick one and we'll go through them like that.
Okay.
So, King Shark, to me, I really enjoyed what they did with King Shark. They definitely faked his death so many times.
See, I love that. I remember walking out of this film, and the first thing that came on my mind was like, Jesus Christ, King Shark's fucking durable as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they shot him so many times, threw him through buildings, had man-eating piranhas on him, and he just walks it off.
So I was watching it with a coworker in my room, and we had it going, and when they started attacking him and he was bleeding, we looked at each other and we were like, "You better not give King Shark this fucking death. Like, this is lame as hell."
No.
But no, they rolled with it. King Shark just made it. And I do love that they faked it so many times. Like, any more than they did, it would have been too much.
I also liked that they kind of periperated him from the Harley Quinn version. Like in the Harley Quinn version, like King Shark is a super intelligent. He's this individual. It's like he's somewhat smart, in this version. Like he's learning human speech, but he's also still a shark. So he's got that animalistic ability. You can't really trust him because yes, you run the risk of him just waking up one day eating you in the middle of your sleep.
That's the one thing I want to talk about King Shark. So you liked that it was different from the Harley Quinn version.
Okay.
Because I love that Harley Quinn show. I've watched every episode. It was kind of hard to take my brain away from that version.
I get you. No, I get you.
Because in that show, King Shark is such a standout, and a lot of the comedy comes from King Shark.
I'm just happy that they're giving King Shark like a personality.
Yes.
Like they're giving him the ability because like King Shark's always kind of he's been one of those Batman rogues that is like when you think about it, it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like with Croc. Like if David Ayers didn't screw up Croc would have been really cool.
Yeah.
But now that everyone's been pushing King Shark and everyone's loving King Shark, they're like, let's do that.
Yeah.
Plus Sylvester Stallone as the voice is just great.
Oh, it's fantastic. But overall, like, just King Shark was one of those characters. And going in, I was thinking, okay, King Shark's going to be the Groot of this movie. And there are still moments where you definitely can say, okay, yeah, that's kind of a Groot-ish moment. But he has so much more personality to him. And you get to see and evolve with him so much throughout this movie. This movie's, what, a little over 2 hours?
2 hours and 18 to 20 minutes?
Yeah. There's only one part of this movie that I felt like, okay, I think we could have adjusted this a little bit.
I do too. I don't know if we have the same spot, but I think there's a whole
section
in the movie you could kind of cut.
It's the middle section in the strip club.
See, I like the middle section in the strip club.
I like it to a degree, but the build up before and after that, I feel like it takes too long.
See, I like the strip club because I think that's really cool because it's giving them character.
Yes.
You can just see them interacting as a team and all that. To me, the thing that, and we'll get to another character, Team B. We haven't forgotten Team B.
Yeah.
To me, the thing that I think you can cut is the whole Harley Quinn thing. Yeah.
So
you can cut all of that.
You could.
Because if you think about it, it really has nothing to do with
what's going on.
Yes, the general is evil, and you could have him a way of being evil without killing his friend and having them kind of have this romance that just comes out of nowhere.
Yes, I do agree with that. I do feel like you could take that section out. I would like to keep some of it. Like, I would like for, instead of all the love romance part, I would like it to be Harley shows up to the new person, the general and all.
Mm-hmm.
He talks to her for a second, and as he's given him this spiel of how he wants her to be his wife, and he's looking out the window, then shoot him. Like, we don't need all that other moment in it.
I think you should still keep the capture scene because that whole sequence was amazing.
Yeah,
of her breaking out.
Yes. Oh God, that was beautiful.
It shows the evolution of her character, and it shows her growth from Birds of Prey.
Yeah, and I did enjoy how, like in Birds of Prey, when she's shooting up the police scene, it's confetti instead of the blood, and here you got the flowers and the paint instead. I definitely enjoyed those moments, but what I do. The whole love thing, I feel like could be taken away, but I think because that moment happened, the following moments is the strip club stuff. I think
Yeah, but I
because
still
that
think
moment was taking my brain back.
club. I still think you can do the strip club because they set up a scenario to where we have to wait.
Yeah,
Okay, and they're looking for Americans in town.
yeah,
So it's like we need someplace to kind of lay low for a couple of hours.
yeah. I just think because it took me a little out of it, that it was harder to get
No,
back
it's
in.
understandable. That's understandable.
But like, here's like you said though, the strip club scenes are still fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next character before we go
Okay.
too far.
To me, like why? So Team B is great.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to pick a favorite character, but what really shines for is I love both Bloodshot's and Peacemaker's whole dynamic because the whole time this is just out of game, but this is also the whole time I'm like that's just you and me in like a freaking competitive game of like that whole scene of like who can out murder each other like the best. I'm like that's just you and me, and I've rewatched that scene like 4 times, and like
It
even the
really
part,
is us.
yeah, even the part where he's like you lose, why, it's non-lethal, he's like yeah it is, it's exploding bullets, it's cool, it's fake to be jealous when your shit is dope as fuck. But
I, I,
Bloodsport. So Bloodsport had me super interested, and he was cool as the leader
yes.
because I think I can cover Bloodsport, you can cover Peacekeeper because they're kind of the same character. Like they
Oh,
even make a running joke.
they had the joke about it.
Yeah, they make a running joke. They're like, "Lady, you literally just told me 5 minutes ago every member of my team is going to be different. Why is he here?"
Yeah.
And John Cena even goes, "Because my bullets are bigger." But I love Bloodsport in this movie because he takes the role as the audience everyday surrogate.
Yeah.
So like all this crazy shit is happening and he knows he's a bad guy. So like when you see King Shark or when you see, first of all, I relate to him because I have a fear of rats. So when all the rat catcher shit happens and he's freaking the hell out, I'm like, bro, I'm there with you. But there's that whole scene where they keep telling him about their powers and this and these giant starfishes, and he just has this look of like, oh, for fuck's sake.
So, I like Bloodsport, but to me, Peacemaker
Oh yeah,
stole
no,
the show.
I like Bloodsport. I'm Peacekeeper is so much better though.
Yeah, Peacemaker is by far so well done, and I love. Here's the thing.
I love that John Cena actually, because you can tell John Cena loves the character.
Oh, hands down.
Because like every interview he showed up in the costume. So he's like, you can tell this is a character he truly does like playing.
Oh, I absolutely adore Peacemaker. He is so well done. The writing for him is fantastic. It made me so excited for his show.
Just like the moment that sold me on him was when King Shark was about to eat Ratcatcher, and they're all like about to just kill him, and he's just standing there in his fucking tidy whities, and even reads like, really, your tidy whities? Like, yeah, so. It's like,
Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
he's.
I didn't expect him to be the double agent.
I did.
I didn't expect him because he seemed too obvious.
I didn't expect him to kill Flag.
No, that
Like
was
that I didn't do. Like when that happened, and it was like Amanda Waller, like she hired me because I need to keep America safe. I'm like, okay, that makes sense because you're kind of himbo brain stupid
Yeah.
about protecting this country.
yeah.
But when Flag was like, no, I can't do it. I've been used by the government. He's like, just give me the drive. And you can look on his face like, I don't want to kill you.
No.
Like, yeah, I'm a villain, but I don't want to kill you. Like, I just want the drive.
Yeah. That whole fight sequence. the fight sequences in this movie entirely is
Was
beyond
great.
amazing. Um, I think that my favorite though is that Harley Quinn escape sequence. That sequence is fantastic. Second, I would be do the killing contest.
Yeah, the killing contest was great because it was pretty much how creative can we get?
Yeah.
It, I love the fact that like to differentiate Peacekeeper from Bloodsport because first of all, Bloodsport has an like his that gun he fought against Starro. I want that gun.
That was
Of it's like
insane.
four different guns
Like you just keep adding attachments and it completely
to it. I'm
changes.
like, where was that the whole time?
Why wasn't he part of the first team? Like
His like his wristwatch thing, which shoots like I guess energy bows or
it was some kind of dart.
dart.
Um
But what I love about the differentiate because hey, he uses guns is they give Peacekeeper nothing but a sword,
mhm,
okay, and an axe.
yeah. Um Ratcatcher 2. Ratcatcher 2.
Okay,
Um I didn't know what to expect out of Ratcatcher, and I was pleasantly surprised. Um,
I
I
was
really
too.
enjoyed her character. To be honest, I wouldn't be upset if we got a HBO Max show of her too.
I don't think they're going to.
I don't think they're going to, but
She
I
was
would
great.
really enjoy
She
it.
was. Someone needed to be kind of the heart of
Yeah.
this team, you know, and she kind of lived that, um, position.
Yes.
But she also proved that just how dangerous she can be.
Yes.
I'm like that whole where she just summoned every rat
Rat.
in the city. I was like,
Holy shit.
but
Um,
also her like relationship with King Shark, and
her
like I do.
relationship with all of them. Like she had some type of connection with every single character um on the team. It was honestly really well done. And she and Bloodsport say that I will protect you if you protect me. Um that's actually what happened. Like he saved her from the kick where it
Yeah.
shot the car, and then she saved everybody. Um,
Well, here's the thing. He also saved her from getting capped by Peacekeeper.
yeah.
It was like he falling through the building and then just which was a great
Oh,
gunslinger duel.
not gonna lie,
Like,
I kind of thought he was gonna land on top of Peacemaker.
no, then we wouldn't have gotten such an epic shot.
No, no, we wouldn't have. But that in the process of watching it, that's what I thought was gonna happen. Um,
So that was cool. But like, save me, I'll save you.
yeah.
And that's the kind of same with the rat.
Polka
And I
Dot
like the
Man.
fact that she wasn't really a villain.
No.
Like, because like once she kind of explains her story, like, hey, they just caught me for like burglary.
Yeah.
And like she would basically be in general probably lockup if you
Yeah.
didn't have the ability to control rats.
Yeah.
You know?
Um, Polka Dot Man.
Oh boy. So you said how you loved Peacekeeper from Team B, okay?
Yeah.
Peacekeeper was great. He was not my favorite character. Polka Dot Man was my favorite freaking character in Team B. So they explain like his powers.
Yes.
I mean, and how he's just this pessimistic, nihilistic of like, we're all gonna die. I hope so. I thought you were the weird one. I am.
If Polka Dot Man was another surprise, because I was like, okay, I was kind of like John Cena. I was like, your
He
powers are
shoots polka
fucking
dots.
stupid. Like, what the fuck? But then like it's just fucking acid and all. I did.
Yeah, they showed you that it's like. I feel like there's a missed opportunity with Polka Dot Man because I feel like you could have done several different things. Like you could have done the acid dots,
Yeah.
but you also could have done like a light show kind of blinding effect,
Mm-hmm.
or something.
Um, it, Polka Dot Man, and then the whole mother thing came out of nowhere and it surprised the hell out of me. It's like, what the fuck? Um, It was
Didn't need to see that.
hilarious.
I
No,
didn't need to freaking see
especially King Shark as his mom. What the fuck?
that.
It just wow. And then like you had such a heartwarming moment when he's like, "I'm finally a hero,"
Yeah.
and to only then just die, and it's like, God
By
damn.
Starro.
Yeah. I want to talk about Starro, but there's one more person I want to talk about.
Okay.
And that is the Thinker. Our boy,
Okay.
Peter Capaldi.
The good thinker.
The good Thinker. And this, I literally turned to my coworker and I told him, I was like, because he didn't realize that was the Thinker, and he has watched The Flash. So he's like, damn. Like, this Thinker is amazing. And he was. Peter Capaldi killed it as the
He
Thinker.
was. I love the fact that they pretty much confirmed. No, he's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Like he's a monster. It's not even like he's like, oh, he's he kind of a villain for greater good, and they try to justify like, your government hired me to do this, but it's like, yeah, we hired you, but you're the one who stayed for 30 years.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I was sitting there while he was giving that whole speech. I was like, they fucking watched that fucking episode of Doctor Who where he gave that phenomenal speech, because this was giving me the same vibes, and I was like, yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, we've got Peter Capaldi. He can actually act. Let's let him act.
Now, this is what pissed me off, though. We don't get to see him face against Flash. And he went
I think people have been
black.
burned too much by the show that they're like.
But here's the thing. They've killed most of Flash's villains.
True.
Like, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, if they ever do like a legit Flash movie, like yeah,
Which
they're doing Flashpoint, but I don't think that's gonna have like a villain.
It's gonna be Thawne. It's gonna
Yeah.
be Thawne.
But like after that, they've killed all his villains in the Suicide Squad. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, all these fantastic villains that we're getting in these Suicide Squad movies, we never will get to see them face a hero.
But I will say, he hit the most brutal freaking death in this movie.
Oh my god. I was like, I enjoyed that speech so much, and Peter Capaldi as the Thinker so much. I was really hoping Starro was going to like, okay, throw him to the side, but it wouldn't kill him. But that bitch went splat, and I was like, oh, damn it.
Peter Capaldi was great as the Thinker, even for the short amount of time, and he did make sense actually in the story wise.
Yeah.
Another character I actually want to talk about before we get to Starro, Amanda Waller.
Yes.
This Amanda Waller is so much better than in the Ayers version, where, yes, it is still the generic Amanda Waller kind of caused this, like most Suicide Squad plots, so we kind of have to screw her mess up.
Yeah.
But there is a moment where Viola Davis just goes full acting. And I'm like, so that's why you hired her. And you figure out in this movie that you never fully got from the Ayers cut, and I'm sorry I keep relating to the Ayers cut, because it has to be related to the Ayers cut. You understand that it takes a certain kind of person to do something like this, to do a Task Force X, to lead a Task Force X. You truly do feel like yes, she is just as terrible as the people that she hires for these missions, if not worse.
Yeah.
Which you never felt that in the last movie.
The only time I felt that in the last movie was when she walked up into that room and shot everyone.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I do like this was Amanda Waller, but I felt like there was a moment of weakness that a traditional Amanda Waller would not have. And that is when she gives in to Bloodsport's thing, and she does not retaliate on her workers who literally knocked her out with a golf club.
Well, I think, because here's the thing. So I think there was that moment of like, there's still that old, there's still like that. It's not going to be the true Amanda
Yeah.
Waller, and how I kind of knew that was when you go back to the beginning of the first scene, how she hesitated so long to push Savant's button,
Yeah.
and even she said at the very beginning before she pushed it, like, damn it, like, like I can't ring him in, I have to do this,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like, yeah, you kind of knew that, like, I didn't think that he would, like, keep that she would follow through on the blackmail, but you kind of understand, like, it's not going to be full Amanda Waller. We still have to make her somewhat credible
Yeah.
for that if we want to keep pushing these out, you
Yeah.
know? It's not like Assault on Arkham or Hell's Pay where they literally just like, no, no, she's irredeemable.
Um. Now, Saban, like, I knew he was gonna die, but man, just what the character development you got within the short time period. Because this man, they presented him like, oh, I can take on anything. I don't give a fuck if you blow up my head. I'm gonna take it on, right? And then he sees everything happen. He's like, no, 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 no.
He's genuine.
Yeah. It's just so fantastic. The character, I think the characters is what really pushed this movie. Plus, this movie is what should be studied in film class. The transitions,
Oh, yes.
the transitions were beautiful.
Just those little visual flares of like Operation This
Yeah.
or Now or 8 days later.
Yes, it was so beautiful. Like there, it made it not feel like it just felt comic booky and cartoony in a way, but in a good way. Like it.
There was color.
Yes, there was color. Oh, okay.
Let's get to the third act.
Let's get to the
Let's
third
get
act.
Starro.
Starro. Way to go of turning a villain that, to be honest, is kind of lame into a badass.
Oh, no, no. If I will tell you this about the third act, if there is one thing this movie proves is that when a 30-foot starfish invades the Earth, we're going to show you what it means when a 30-foot starfish invades the Earth. How that's actually kind of terrifying.
Yes. And I know they had the line in the trailer, but when he came out that building and the Amanda Waller's employee turned around and was like, it's a goddamn kaiju! I just busted out laughing because that's like one of the most iconic scenes because like, way to go! Like,
And I also find it funny that he's not really a monster. Like, yes, he's like, hey, the city is mine. But at the end of the day, he just wanted to stare at the sky
yeah,
because he was literally trapped for 30 years.
yeah. And honestly, the fact that the stars, when it goes on a person's face, it's done.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that was disgusting, but I loved it. Because, like, in the comics, when the stars get on the person's face, you just take them off and Starro has no power. But this added depth. It added, like, this is dangerous.
Oh, yeah. And it's they leave it enough to where it's like, if you want to, you could bring him back, or you could bring back an essence from him because
Yeah.
you pretty much, he was discovered from outer space, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways you could technically bring him back.
So the third act followed your traditional superhero explosions, buildings, destruction, and I
Yes.
get it that that's starting to become very cliche.
Yes.
I didn't have a problem with it this time.
I think because, one, people died on our team throughout the third act. I mean, it was just domino after domino. Because up until like midway point in the in the second act, we got the team and it was solid. No one had died for a while. And then when that third act hits, it's death, 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 death. Like, it's just rolling in death. And I think that's the one thing that pulls it from that cliche. Is the fact that the team that we knew from the beginning, they kept it rolling. There was stakes, people died, um, and like it was bad. Like
Oh yeah, no, it
everything
was
that was
awful.
happened, it was bad. Um, and while like yeah, they're free now, which is great. We get to hopefully see them face off against someone or get arrested again and then become part of the Nets team. Um,
I have things on say to that, but it kind of leads mostly towards the ending and kind
yeah.
of what they're setting up for the future.
Yes.
Um, so Star is defeated,
Yes.
Waller's blackmailed.
Yes.
Um, I do like that it's the javelin that is the shroom that kills Starro.
Well,
Well,
the
it's the
rats
rats,
and the
but it's
javelin.
the rats, but it's Harley Quinn's like, I finally know what the javelin is for. I'm like, but then
What a callback.
the good callback. But the better callback was like they were all talking in the end, like, man, I like Rick. Bloodsport's talking to Harley. She's like, I like Rick. He's my friend. I don't got very much of those. And she's like, I'm your friend, Milton. It's not my freaking name. Yeah, it is. We just had a 30-minute conversation. That your name was Milton. He's like, nope.
I love that too. So
It's freaking great.
I'm not gonna lie though, like this felt like Harley Quinn.
I liked her better in Birds of Prey. Okay. But
Yes.
I feel like now she has such a concept on the character that it's like going forward to however they want to use her, she's good.
I liked her better overall in Birds of Prey. I felt like here, especially that whole sequence for her,
Hmm.
like if you shorten that, there's not much need for Harley Quinn other than the javelin.
Right.
Um,
But I feel like now she has the character down.
yes. But it like personality wise, like you said, she very much had it down. Um, and like it did feel like our comic book animated series Harley Quinn.
Yeah. So that's fun. Everything starts wrapping up.
Yep.
Um, Day is saved. He finally gets over his fear of mice, which I'm like, ah, okay,
Sure.
sure. Then the two teasers.
Yes.
There's the first one with Weasel, which I laughed so hard.
First of all, my dude, how long were you dead? Like,
How long were you out?
yeah,
Because assume that he wasn't dead, he was just unconscious.
yeah, with water in his throat. But like, it seemed like it had been like 5 days.
Okay.
Sure. Honestly, though, I would have wished to seen Weasel kill one person.
And then two, the end of the movie, they set up Peacekeeper, which was the big thing because everyone was kind of wondering because it's
Is there going to be a
supposedly the
prequel?
series is
Or
yeah, like is it gonna be a prequel? Is it a sequel? Well, if he dies, which I should
which,
have known something was up because they made sure that with everybody, including Rick Flag, because they even showed like it piercing his heart.
yeah,
They're like they are dead. So when it cuts to Peacekeeper in it and it's like, oh, I'm surprised he's barely alive. I'm like, comic book logic, you know.
yeah,
If you don't see the body, he ain't dead.
yeah. And
But I like it because I feel like with him, there is the most room for improvement of the development of this guy who's so super patriotic. It's like it's going to be so great to actually see, depending on how the writing is, of people breaking that down of that whole methodology and logic, you know?
mhm.
Two, I don't know if you know Peacekeeper's like origin.
Not really.
So, Peacekeeper started in Charleston Comics, okay, to where he was pretty much just a regular guy who loved peace so much he wanted to stop this evil dictator that, his normal civilian form would never, use violence or whatnot. but he must keep peace at all time. So he would become the personification of Peacemaker, of creating all these. As a man who's a total pacifist, he made all these violent and dangerous guns of
Yeah.
the world. So he would use those to pretty much cause peace.
Yeah.
DC pretty much caught up to him along with several other people, Question, Huntress, brought him into Crisis, and they kind of redid his origin to where it was like his father was very patriotic. He joined, the army.
Okay.
But the twist was where it goes super DC was the fact was they found out that his father was like a high member in the Reichstag of the Nazis.
Oh.
So, and he would get so patriotism for the mission, for the country, that he would that it got to a point where like he would start to see and have the image of his dead father pretty much being there, of being like, you're doing it for the mission, you gotta do it, you gotta save this country, so I'm like, I'm wondering, like, knowing that, like, are you gonna have that be the freaking origin?
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
I'm so excited because apparently they're doing that. They're doing a Green Lantern series, and they're doing a spin-off series based off of the Matt Reeves Batman series.
Yes.
So HBO
And
is setting
Batgirl
up
movie.
and Batgirl. So HBO Max is they're setting up their counter argument to Disney Plus,
Yes.
and I'm so there. Like, this fucking movie.
I loved it. Now let's talk about the box office for a second, and then going forward. But before we do
And
that,
rating.
let's give our rating.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna give you the honors first. What
Alright,
is your
so-
rating for the Suicide
Before we get to my
Squad?
rating, I have a caveat.
Okay.
So this whole thing started with Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Okay. And we created the dog shit award
Mm-hmm.
for it, all right? Then I remember I Discorded you a couple days ago and said, I've thought about some things, maybe it's not as bad, and you're like, oh, I still hate it. Okay. Then I saw Cosmonaut Variety Hour's video of it, and he brought up some really good things about the first Suicide Squad, how first 30 minutes is just a bunch of stapled scenes together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 9 songs played
Yeah.
in like the first 30 minutes. And I told you, to this day, there's only one rating worse than dog shit, and that's -5 stars.
Yes.
David Ayers' Suicide Squad is -5 stars. I'm changing my fucking rating. After watching this film and seeing what James Gunn has done to this, and showing that this is what the Suicide Squad should have been.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything about this was good. The rated R worked.
Yes.
Okay. Every actor, even for the ones that were on there, you felt like everyone actually had a good time, and they actually somewhat knew, their characters. I do have problems. Like I said, I think the Margot Robbie thing needs to go.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there is some scene. There is padding. Like, you can definitely feel like. I don't know. I've never felt that. I didn't feel like, even though it's 2 hours, I never felt like it was 2 hours.
No, I didn't either.
I think that a lot of them are just cool, but like the whole idea of don't get attached was like, but yeah, some of these are actually kind of cool and would be interesting to see how you go forward.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect film. It's not
No.
my favorite of the DC films.
No.
Because Joker and Dark Knight still exist. I've watched it twice, which is rare for me because I rarely watch films,
Yeah.
especially superhero films like this when they recently come out twice. And and I'm just excited going forward. So I teetered back on it. I'm like, okay, I really need to think this out. Critically, like fan wise, I love it, but critically, like, hey, balancing that out, how are you going to do it? Because it's bleeds above the
Yes.
other film. I need to say that. So I critical out, and I'm like, this is an A-.
Mm-hmm.
It's barely squeaks by.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, is it a B plus or an A minus? And I'm like, I thought about it some more, and I'm like, no, this is an A minus.
Yeah.
It's a low A minus, still an A minus. Fucking love this film.
You know what's funny?
What?
I'm giving it an A minus.
Yeah.
We on the same wavelength. There's just a few things that take it back a little bit. Like I said, the Harley Quinn thing, I felt like would have worked if they just shortened it, take out that whole love sequence, just have it's Harley Quinn. Literally have him telling her how he feels about her, turn around, shoot him when she shows up. We don't have to go through that whole
You
sequence.
could have still done the same dialogue of just like him talking like, "Hey, I'm going to use Starro to kill kids."
Yeah.
You didn't. You could have cut out all that romance stuff of like, "Why did you want me?" "Oh, I just want to talk."
Yeah. That just took me back a bit. And like there's just some little things. But overall, man,
I
wow.
had fun. I haven't had this much fun since probably the first Guardians. Like that's the level of fun. The level of like excitement for a superhero film, I don't think I had till probably Endgame.
Yeah.
You know, I I still think Guardians is better, even though it's same done by James Gunn. I think
Yeah.
Guardians is a lot tighter and is done a lot better.
Yeah.
This is a pure example of why I think I like DC better than Marvel.
Okay.
Because Marvel is very pro quo of we need to rein you in and control you because we got to appease to fucking everybody.
Yeah.
DC says fuck everybody, fuck little Johnny, fuck Tim, fuck Susie. We will, if we have to, we will offend everybody, and y'all will love it.
Yeah.
You know, they're willing to. If a director doesn't need to be reined in, just freedom of expression,
Yeah.
fine.
So where do you think we go from here?
Well, if you look at the box office, so
It was weak,
it was weak.
but it's also on
claiming-
HBO Max.
But here's the thing: Black Widow was on Disney Plus, and people still went to the.
Yes.
I think the box office is weak because of the whole Delta variant.
Okay.
I know people don't want to talk about it, but that's the whole reason that it is. I think what it's going to be different instead is companies are already assuming that they're going to take a loss because of how this whole pandemic era.
Yeah.
Okay. What I think people are still going to classify this as a success, though, is critically
Yes.
how it's being taken.
Yes.
Because both critics and audiences are generally in the same area of
Yeah.
we love it.
Yeah.
You know?
No. And I feel like I don't want another Suicide Squad movie for a bit.
I don't either.
I want
if
to
I-
get to know characters, have them show up in other movies, maybe see them get arrested, and then after a while have another Suicide Squad movie. Because we have so many good villains that are getting killed in these movies without actually getting to see them do anything of why they're in the jail.
This would have been a good way to introduce like Black Adam or Sinestro.
Yeah.
You know? They
Now, here's the thing. Before James Gunn came in, the weapon that they were going to go release was not Starro, but Supergirl. Which I kind of feel like, after I researched and I found that out, I kind of was like, damn, that's a missed opportunity. Because then you could have had Supergirl doing that whole full force Kryptonian, like, she's been held captive, tortured, so she's just going crazy. And then
it
that
could have been their injustice.
And then it could have led into a Man of Steel 2.
Maybe.
Like, I kind of feel like that was a missed opportunity.
My only problem with that is that I think there would have been so much studio interference, kind of like with Ayers,
Yeah.
to where that sounds great.
Yeah.
It's the idea for a full, like a 100% Kryptonian is scary.
Yes.
But I think it's also DC is on this would have been on that level of like, okay, but like we still want her to be, because we might want to make her a hero one day, so we can't
Yeah.
have her like do
Especially
genocide.
with like the show rapping.
Yeah, it's like we can't have her do genocide. We might want to do her for like an HBO series or a movie or something.
Yeah.
We can't have her. Where with this, it's Starro,
Yeah.
and these are a bunch of villains, and it's Starro.
But like you said,
Obviously
that
you're not going to ever do another,
100%
like obviously you're
Krypton.
not going to ever do another Justice League movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, use Starro.
That 100% Kryptonian though, just dangling in front of us. Oh, and it being Supergirl would add so much character depth.
I feel like they would ever save that for if they ever did a version of like Kingdom Come
Yeah.
or Injustice.
Yeah.
You know, which they might do it in a version of Superman and Lois season. I don't know. He might go to an alternate universe where, hey, Kal-El pretty much is taking over.
Yeah. But we
Going
want to know.
forward, like with the other series, sky's the limit.
It really is.
Like I remember going into this because we were talking about this with the Batman series, the Batman trailer of like, if this is where DC wants to go, of just full comic booky, you know, artistic freedom or dramatic drama, like sure, Marvel's always going to be Marvel because they're setting up and they've always going to have the fans, but like I think in the long run,
I like this better.
I like this better.
Yeah.
Because I can have my superhero campy comic, and I still love Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, for God's sakes, we're still going to be watching Marvel.
Yeah.
But, like, personally, preference-wise, I like that you're going to have people who, that's still a comic booky superhero thing, but I can also make it a dramatic drama.
Yeah. But we want to know what you thought of Suicide Squad. Down.
What did you think of the review?
Yeah.
This long ass fucking review.
We haven't done a long one like this in a long time. But Suicide Squad.
We needed to do it for Suicide Squad.
It started what this channel is, and
Started the dog shit awards.
it did start the dog shit award. So it started it. So we had to come back for it.
I mean,
if you're new and you stuck through this 53-minute video, please hit that subscribe button, because if this does really well, we'll do more.
Yeah, so one more thing. Apparently, because Peacekeeper is wrapped, from what I've heard,
Yeah.
January to February.
Sign me up.
Yep, hell yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And like always, we'll see you in the next one. Later.